Hey, what's up guys? This is LJ here with the solo queue jungle tier list for patch 3.10. The jungle tier 1, and this is in order guys, so our number 1 best jungler of this patch is going to be Zac. He's an excellent ganker, he clears jungle camp super fast, he has great sustain with his blobs, he scales really well into late game, he has great CC and one of the best initiations in the game. If you can land a Q from behind a wall where the other enemy team does not see you, that is really devastating in solo queue. The newer magic resist items that Riot just put into the game fit him really well. In particular, the Spirit Visage synergizes really well with his blobs, and he's able to heal a lot more. At number 2, we have Jarvan. He's one of the strongest early game champions. He has a ton of AD, and if he gets invaded early, he's going to be able to defend himself. He actually has potential to counter invade as well, since he's so strong early. He has really strong ganks with his EQ combo into ultimates, and he has a lot of damage to follow up those ganks, so he may not need his laners to follow up the ganks as well as another jungler would. Coming in at number 3, we have Elise. She's the best 1v1 early game jungler. She's great at counter jungling. She has a super strong kit. She has a ton of abilities, way more than most junglers have at her level. She's able to stun. She's able to do damage. She can do it all. She can build tank. She can build damage. And either way, she's going to be a force late game. She can either split push in the top lane, or she can join a team fight and totally devastate a team. At number 4, we have Nocturne. The global pressure from his ultimate is absolutely devastating. It's very hard to ward against a Nocturne, and the enemy team is going to play very passive against a Nocturne because they know that if they overcommit in their lane, there's a good chance Nocturne could ult in. Because of this, Nocturne is able to farm his jungle very well to scale himself in the late game, make sure he's collecting all that guaranteed gold in the jungle, and he's just able to use his ult on all the ganks. Coming in at number 5, we have Evelynn. People don't know how to play for stealth champions in solo queue often. They don't know how to ward. They don't know how to not overextend in lane. And Evelynn is really good at punishing people for that, for being out of position. She's a great counter jungler. She's able to catch the jungler when he's low on health in his own jungle. And she's very good at snowballing games. She's able to do things with the kills. If she can get a kill or two early, she can absolutely snowball a game. She can gank every single lane, gank the jungler, and just absolutely carry the game. That's it for the jungle tier 1. Moving on to jungle tier 2. At number 1, we have Master Yi. He's a great farmer. He scales super hard into late game. He's one of the best 1v1ers late game, and he can single-handedly win games with split pushing alone. He's able to push top, and he's forcing more than one person to come and stop him because he could just 1v1 them. The problem with Master Yi and why he is in tier 1 is his ganks aren't very strong, and if your team loses hard enough, you won't make it to endgame. At number 2, we have Amumu. He's a good ganker. He clears the jungle very fast. He scales tanky into late game, which is really nice. And once he gets some items under his belt, maybe a Sunfire Cape or Abyssal Scepter, he has some really decent damage and really good AoE. He also has probably the best fight initiation in the game, being able to bandage toss and then ultimate everybody and snare everybody to start a team fight is just really, really strong. The reason that he's not tier 1 anymore is he's very susceptible to getting counter jungled early, and with the new champions in tier 1, the Evelynn, the Elise, the Jarvan, those champions are very strong early, and that's going to hurt Amumu. Amumu is also weak because he heavily relies on mana, and he relies on hitting his bandage toss skill shot for successful ganks. If you're not going to land the bandage toss, then it's not going to be a very good gank, most likely. Coming in at 3, we have Udyr. He's a great 1v1 champion. He's a great counter jungler early. He's strong split pusher late game, and he's actually pretty strong in team fights. He scales well into late game as well with items. He scales very well. The issue with him is he's very comp specific. He relies pretty heavily on being able to catch his opponent, and he can be kited pretty easily. If you're not able to land Bear as an Udyr, that's really, really bad, and you're going to get kited and die, and that's kind of the weakness that puts him there. Coming in at number 4, we have Hecarim. He's been slowly dropping down the tier ladder, but he's still here at number 4. He's still one of the best early game gankers. He snowballs lanes super hard. If he can get a kill early, he can just totally dominate a game. He moves around the map faster than any other good jungler. But the issue with Hecarim is he relies heavily on a strong early game, and if things don't go well for him, then the games tend to not go well for Hecarim. And another problem is with late game, he's kind of in between the tanky and damage dealing champions, and that doesn't tend to scale very well late game. Coming in at number 5, we have Nautilus. Nautilus was a champion that was at the very high point of tier 1 not even that long ago, but now he's slowly dropping down the tier ladder, and he's almost a tier 3. But for right now, we're going to leave him here at the tier 2 at the very bottom. He's still one of the best early game gankers. He has great crowd control. He clears the jungle camp super fast. He's has one of the best initiations for team fighting in the entire game with his hook, all of his CC, all his kit is really crowd control heavy, which is really good for him. the issue with Nautilus, now he's very susceptible to getting counter jungled early, very similar to how Amumu has dropped down. It's very similar. He relies on his shield for damage, so if his shield is not up, if they damage him down and his shield is not up, then he's not doing any damage, basically. He's very reliant on hitting skill shots. If you miss your Q, you miss your hook on Nautilus, then you're not going to be very successful during your ganks. And he's very reliant on his team. That's the biggest issue with him now, is he can't really carry himself, and he's very reliant on getting your team fed and just hoping your team carries you. So for solo queue, that's not the best thing to be betting on. But thanks for watching, guys. That is the jungle tier 1 and 2 list for patch 3.10. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.
Where are we going? Hey, come back. Let's find some friends.